Hey all, and this is the District Yokai event. This is a Fire Slayer event and Immortal Killer. So I made up a few teams. I got an extra ultra rare from tier 2 of the vault, believe it or not. I didn't record it unfortunately, but since I got that, I went and forged the other card using coins, so I have the ultimate form for this deck. So the team you can see on the screen is by far the most effective one I was able to make up. Then I made up a slightly weaker team, that's just really to test out ideas. And then a commander-based team as well, if you're struggling for ideas and don't have many good Slayer cards. So let's go over to the first team. So the current event ultimate form, let's start with that card. District Defenders, Immortal Killer, so perfect when used with Iria. Creates 7 Power Gem level 7s, heals for 500% hero recovery. Increases Fire Slayer attack by 60% for one turn. When ambushing, it's 200% instead, so ideally you want to get a big hit out early on. That's the idea behind this deck, I think. So the other cards, High Performance Unit Iria, that's to get supercharged up. That boosts up all Immortal Killer cards. That's very useful since the current event deck is Immortal Killer. And then Blitzkrieg Beasts, again, that's an Immortal Killer card boosted up by Iria. That's why it's on the team. It's actually the main damage dealer. Now for the other two cards, Metaverse Masters. This is quite a tricky one to use effectively, but it's a really good card. Gives the next hero to use their battle skill a 150% damage buff for one turn. So, since the most powerful card on the team is Blitzkrieg Beasts, I use Metaverse Masters, then Blitzkrieg Beasts immediately afterwards. And once I've done that, I use Heretic Hunters. That converts all the Dark Gems into Fire Gems and creates a ton of Fire Power Gems as well. So that's the idea behind the team anyway. It'll make more sense when I actually use it in battle. Now onto the relics. I have 2 Immortal Killer based relics. Raised Staff and 2 General Fire Slayer relics. So if we go from left to right, this relic breaks 3 Immortal Shields, and this one here 3+1 per Dark Commander Ultimate Hero on the team. So that's 7 shields in total broken. I think that's enough for the Umbrals. It might need 8 though, in which case I need to make a slight adjustment to the team. Raised Staff increases attack of all applicable heroes by 47.1%, so very useful to have that on the team. Then a General Fire Slayer relic, Lion's Pride, nothing special about that. Same with this one here. That's just to fill up the team really, as I didn't have many other Fire Slayer relics. Now onto the other teams. The second team is not quite as effective, but it's something to try if you don't have Metaverse Masters. The main additional card that's not used in the other team is On a Roll Luminaries. I don't really need this card as I have the ultimate form from the current event deck. But it's a very similar card. As you can see, doubles the gems created and increases self-attack by 200% for 2 turns when ambushing. Or creates 7 Power Gem level 5s. So it's basically a weaker version of the current ultimate form. Again, the idea is these are boosted up by Iria. Then we have Heretic Hunters at the end to convert and upgrade all the Power Gems. So that's something you can try if you're struggling for ideas and don't have the first team. Then finally, you can try a Commander team as well if you're struggling for Slayer ideas. The idea behind this team is that all cards increase Fire Commander damage. And Steel Force is the Immortal Killer card. It's not especially effective, but if you don't have any Slayer cards, it's something you can try. It's an idea anyway. Just look for Commander cards that all have a damage boost if you have them. And hopefully that will work. Heretic Hunters is on the team again, since it has that massive self-damage increase by 275%. So there we go, that's something else you could try if you're struggling for ideas, but Commander decks are not really that effective. There is a new type of boss though this time around. I will talk about that a little bit later. Commander decks actually work quite well on those, which is kind of strange. Now, unfortunately, I didn't record the vault. I only did 2 tiers. I wasn't expecting to get anything good, but I did. Rather lucky there. So let's move on to the actual event. So I've taken it to the highest prestige. You can see the main change with this event is that there's now umbrals, and I have an umbral up. You can see that it has 83 quadrillion HP on it at this level. So I dread to think what the Eternals are going to have on them. But yeah, that's a very tough boss. I'm going to lock it and give it a go. Right, so I'm going to try this team. I think this is the most effective team. If I can take off half the health, I will be impressed, but it has fear on it. And fear is pretty much the worst skill to be going up against, unfortunately, with this team. However, the important part is it will show you how to use this team if you have it yourself. So, turn 1, the grid fills with rainbow like so. You need to match as many fire gems as possible. There we go. That's turn 1. Then turn 2, you need to try and get Iria going if you can. Now, if there's not enough dark gems, like in this situation, use Metaverse Masters to spawn a few, then you can use Iria afterwards, like so. And then on the next hit, you've just got to basically hope for the best, really. So what you need to do now is use Metaverse Masters, then your strongest card, whichever one's going to deal the most damage. Then use Heretic Hunters like that, then your final card to try and create some loose power gems. Now keep an eye on the damage on Blitzkrieg Beasts, as that's the important damage. And there we go, you can see I've got an 8.3 Q on the boss. The problem is now it's got fear, so I'm going to have to wait ages before I can do another attack. Any boss without fear, though, is okay, just I decided to pick one that has fear, unfortunately. You can see how to use the team, what sort of damage it does. I'm going to quit out at this point, though. It's going to be too hard to get any more fire gems, unfortunately. So before I try the other boss, the Radiant, which should be a lot easier, these are my options for countering fear. Unfortunately, not many options, but yeah, this one counters fear. Is that going to be useful on the team, though? Let's have a look. Probably not really, as it doesn't have a damage boost. That's a card you could use if you're struggling with fear like I am. I'm going to rally that boss in a bit. I'm going to go on to the Radiant now, which doesn't have fear, thank goodness. The leading light. So again, same team, same strategy. This should be a lot easier, though. Those Umbrals really are a true challenge. You're going to need a really strong team to take them down quickly. Right, here we go with the Radiant. Should be a lot easier, especially as it doesn't have fear on it, which is always nice. So, as before, try and match as many fire gems as possible. This is an appalling grid, though, I will be honest. All the fire gems seem to have disappeared, unfortunately. So I'm going to need to be really careful with my next match. One thing to note, if you use Iria, it does spawn a few fire gems like that. So, yeah, you can try and get a few more on the grid. Unfortunately, this attack is going really badly. I'm going to try again, actually, as this didn't really work. So as you saw from that attack, it didn't really work. I didn't have enough fire gems, so I'm going to give it another go. Hopefully this time I will get more fire gems at the start. But you can see what I'm trying to do here. As long as I get enough fire gems to activate the 3 cards, then I can start hitting on the next turn. It doesn't always work. This time, though, the grid seems a lot better, as you can see here. The fire gems haven't been overlapped, which is always good. Just focus on the fire gems when using this team. Don't worry about the dark gems, as you can spawn more with Metaverse Masters. Now, I managed to get Iria up on turn 2, and now I'm going to hit on turn 3. You probably saw, but my Blitzkrieg Beasts is 5 pink stars, which is why I'm putting the boost from Metaverse Masters on that card, and not the ultimate form. That kind of makes sense. Well, hopefully it does anyway. Yeah, we go. And then hopefully a decent hit. And this will be a lot easier to defeat, but still quite hard. So, yeah, none of the bosses are especially easy this time around. It's going to be a tough event, especially when those not so lovely Eternals start spawning. Yes, I'm not really looking forward to that, but, you know, we'll do what we can. I guess just rally everyone on the Eternal and hope we actually defeat it. That's pretty good strategy if I'm being honest. Right, anyway. Blitzkrieg Beasts again, then convert the gems, then try and get some loose power gems, ideally. Now, that's another pretty poor grid. Let's see what it does. 2.1 on... Yeah, again, it's not very good. And the boost is sort of worn off. That's, you know, the 200% increases only when ambushing. So it gets a lot harder after you've used that card once, basically. But you can see what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to kill the boss in a reasonable amount of time, or reasonable amount of turns, should I say. I'll try again. Let's see what happens. There's a rainbow on the grid now, so it should be more effective. But we will see. Got more power gems this time, and a few loose ones. Yeah, 5.4 on Blitzkrieg. This should multiply up to about 10? Yeah, 9.3. And that's defeated the boss. So yeah, the Radiant's a lot easier, but still really, really difficult. And the Umbrals are just insane this time around, if I'm being honest. So the question, should you be hitting Radiant or Umbral bosses? Well, here's a Radiant. If I have a quick look at it, if it doesn't die before it's loaded. 1.5, 1.7, and an Umbral's about double that trophies, but way higher HP. I believe there's an Umbral still at the bottom. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, it's about double the trophy. So my thought is actually to focus on Radiance, if I'm being honest, and ignore the Umbrals, maybe? I'm not sure. It's difficult. But you saw earlier, I had an Umbral and I couldn't really do a lot to it. But that's because it had Fear on it as well. This one has Slumber and it's a lot more manageable. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this with my main team. See if I can get something on it. But yeah, it's tough. You can hit Umbrals, but they're going to take a lot longer. And they don't give that many more trophies. So it all depends on your team, basically. Have a look at what your team can do. If you can get 20% on Radiance on turn 1, then that may be the best option. If, however, you have an absolute monster deck that can do like 30, 40 Q, I know that's pretty unlikely, but a few players may have that, then you're going to want to hit these not so nice Umbrals. My general opinion, though, is the Umbrals are not really worth the time, and this is going to be an absolute monster hit. Wow, that's the biggest hit I managed so far during the event. 14.5 Q. I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah, that's an absolute monster hit, but it very, very rarely happens. But yeah, nice when it does happen. Very nice when it does happen. So yeah, I think most of the time during the event I'm going to focus on the Radiance, but I'm going to kill Umbrals as well. It depends what's on the screen. I'm not going to spend too long if I get my own Umbral, though, trying to get 50% on it. I think I'll just take 20%, then rally it to friends or the guild. But yeah, with your matches, you want as many loose power gems as possible, ideally. And that's where you get the absolute monster damage values from. Enough for 20%. I probably would have got 50% on a Radiant, and that, in turn, would have given me more trophies, I think. So I'm going to have a quick look at the Slayer Showdown section of the event. I played this earlier for a bit. These bosses are quite easier. There's a leaderboard for these. Not really sure what that's about, but you need to get number 1 to really get anything. I have no idea what these trophies do. Probably do nothing. I don't recommend spending gems on this unless you really want to for some strange reason. Keys are really, really sparing as well. But the bosses themselves are really easy, and if I use my commander team, you'll see something weird. Now, here we go. There's commander gems on the board during Slayer. Can you see those? Hopefully you can. Yeah, this is really weird. I don't know why during a Slayer event There's commander gems. But yeah, if you're taking on these bosses, bear that in mind. You can use a commander team, and you'll probably do more damage with a commander team than a slayer team. But yeah, that's something to bear in mind with these bosses. They're really weird. They don't give many trophies, but they spawn commander gems. I'll kill another one. Yeah, they're still on iron level, and well, that's not really giving anything yet. They're kind of like ultimates, I guess. You need to see how high you can go with them. If you get up to maybe level 40, 50, 60 with them, they'll probably start giving good trophies, but you have to one key them, and you only get one key back each time. Otherwise, I think it's a 4-hour wait for another key or something like that. It's a long time anyway, but yeah, you can use a commander team on these bosses, and they spawn commander gems. That's something very strange I've noticed about these. It's pretty cool. You may or may not have noticed this for yourself. If you didn't, then you know now, basically. There you go, this should easily kill it. Yeah, I'm not going to waste any more time on these. They take a very long time to defeat, even though the trophies are going up very slowly. The last one was 10, and now have a look at this one quickly. 14, so it's gone up a little bit from the previous one, but not enough to make me want to spend ages fighting these bosses, I don't think. Gonna take too long. So that's the event. Now to have a look at the collection and event rewards. I should be able to stay in Legends this time. This is a Dragoon collection though. It's got 5 Dragoons in the collection. This is a collection you really need to complete. Good stuff there. Dragoons are always pretty much essential in GVG. And for the guild collection, we have those orbs. Citrine whetstone gifts, they're pretty good. 6-star fire dragoon. Again, don't forget though, if you change guilds mid-event, you are completely ineligible for these gifts, so do be careful. And now, what is it? Is it a warden or dragoon? My prediction is a warden. I don't know why. This Legend League, actually, let's go back. I'm just going to show this. This Legend League has 335 players in it. I just wanted to show that. It's extremely big and far, far bigger than usual. I have no idea why. I'm going to guess there's only one Legend League this time around. It should be relatively easy to stay in it, especially with this team. Slumber. Oh, Slumber can completely mess players up, so that's not bad. It's about time I saw an Earth Slumber Warden. Yeah, that's a good Warden. Slumber's quite a rare defender skill and can be really annoying to get through, so one to consider using if you have an Earth team or you have an Earth Fire team. Most Fire teams are attacked with either Warden or some sort of Golems-based team. I normally use my Immortal Killer team for fire defences. But there we go, a decent Warden anyway this time around. So on to the season rewards. Yeah, this takes ages to load, sorry about that. Nothing I could do about it. This is what I want to go on to, the ultimates. So which ultimate to get if you still have coins? Well, there's absolutely no question which one's the best one. It's the Dark Commander one, of course. This is one of the most versatile ultimate forms I have ever seen in the game. You can use it with pretty much any team to boost up one card, as long as you can convert the gems back. One of the best ultimate forms I've ever seen, if not the best one. If you can only get one deck, make sure it's this one. That's what I have to say. Ignore the other decks, just make sure you get the dark one. So let's have a quick look at the news feed, see if there's anything interesting in here. What's Slayer Sale? Bunch of keys. It's not exactly exciting me though, if I'm being honest. I might as well just mark that as red. What else is there? Oh, the Slayer Showdown. You get a card named after you, and then the Umbral bosses, which you've all already seen. I'm not looking forward to the final 3 days of this event. those Umbral Eternals are going to be an absolute nightmare. So yeah, here's the ultimate form. You've already seen it. It's an ambush card. Create 7 fire power gem 7s. Fire Slayer attack by 200%. So what you could also try is something with the golems, and then I believe it's this card. It might not be. Whichever one has the damage boost on it. I believe it's the other card. Yeah, 200% on this one. So you could try Iria with the ultimate form from this deck with Tengu Master Shinsuke, whatever his name is, and then see if that does decent damage, as I'm hoping the 200% each time can stack up. I am actually missing one of the cards. It's a very old card. I have no idea how I'm going to get that. I'm going to see if I can buy it back in a bit. Otherwise, I'm going to have to miss out on the shiny this time around. And that's the end of the video. I hope that was helpful. As always, if you do have any questions or suggestions regarding this video, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to help. If you enjoyed the video, leaving a like and subscribing is always appreciated. Thank you to those that have already subscribed, and thanks for watching.